Well, it's my real pleasure to have the opportunity to visit with my good friend Steve Hatchell, who is the CEO and president of the National Football Foundation and College Football Hall of Fame. Steve has been in that position since 2005, but he has a long, distinguished career in the sports world. And so, first, Steve, why don't you just tell people? Some people might not be familiar with what the National Football Foundation and College Football Hall of Fame is and what the mission is. So why don't you, if you wouldn't mind, just give a little background with that.
Sure. The National Football Foundation was created in 1947, so we're 76 years old. And the whole mission, you boil it down, you hate to have just cute phrases, but it's to protect the history of the game, to promote what went on in the history of the game since college football started in 1869. So we've got a rich and wonderful history. To promote what's going on during this day and time. But the biggest thing to do is to make sure that you protect that there's a future in the game. There's a lot of challenges to football. And because we don't take money we're not a governmental agency, we're not part of the NCAA, et cetera. We've got distinguished people on our board like yourself who are there to protect the game. And it's one of the calling cards that we have. So within that structure, in 1951, we created the College Football Hall of Fame. We've had 4 physical buildings. The one that we presently have, which will be 10 years old here real soon, is in Atlanta, Georgia. And so that's protecting the history, and all of the artifacts that are in the Hall of Fame belong to the National Football Foundation. And all of the old videos, give you, for instance, we own all of Notre Dame football up through 1988. Yeah. And we have thousands of hours of things, such as the Flutie pass that he made against Miami. And so that's protecting the past. Now, what we're doing right now, which is of real significance, is that we're being asked by everybody, and if you look at the makeup of the board, we have NFL owners, we have the commissioner of the NFL, we have conference commissioners, 2 very powerful conference commissioners, and a lot of what you might say are great leaders who say, look, let's be aggressive about promoting the game. So we do a lot with research. We are the go-to spot, and we had a full day today of people calling saying, what's the graduation rates? What's transfer rates that are going on? How do you balance that with the issues that are happening today? How many guys play college football? Working closely with the NFL, we point out that only 0.3 or 0.4% get drafted or signed as free agents in any given year. And the reason that we give that some perspective is we want guys to know, listen, it's great, go try the pros. You're only going to be there 3.3 years if you make it. Right. So what we do with the Football Foundation and the projects that we're involved with you and a lot of other wonderful people is that you go to college, it's a wonderful platform to get a degree, get an education, help you build a house that you're going to live in for 40 years. And to give you some perspective. And so how do we protect the game against all of the challenges that come in? Because the game has a lot of people that just either don't like it, don't care for it, think it's dangerous or whatever. And we take it upon ourselves to tilt in on that. So that's the aspect of what the Football Foundation does. We put the guys in the Hall of Fame, giving that some perspective. There have been 5.6 million guys that have played college football since 1869. And there's only 1,015 players in the Hall of Fame and about 250 coaches. So it's very special to get in the College Football Hall of Fame. And then through a lot of our other projects, the scholar athlete programs that we have, such as the William B. Campbell Trophy, it's to reward those players who go to college, get a degree, and then go on and do things. And the reason that's important is that there's a narrative out there that says if you play college football, you're really not in school. Or if you play college football, you don't get a degree. Or if you play college football, it's just mayhem. And our whole point is the graduation rates right now are higher than the student body in general, that we have a chance to enact any sort of positive approach to the scholar athlete program. And the ultimate of that, the Heisman of academic awards, the William B. Campbell Trophy, shows that you can play at the highest level, you can graduate at the highest level, and then you go on to be a great player if you want, then you go on to do great things in life.
Yeah, and then I want to talk about what the foundation is going to really lean into as it relates to the student athlete and the education experience, not just only in college, but as on a lifelong basis. But I think there's such unique history to the National Football Foundation. Give a little bit more just in terms of something. There's the annual dinner with the gold medal. Talk about some of the people who've gotten the gold medal, which is the award given to the person that has shown the kind of greatest leadership really in the society.
One of the things that we try to emphasize, which the board talks to us about all the time, and we have a small staff, but we've got a whole country of leaders. The whole idea is that football is synonymous with leadership in many ways, and we really try to emphasize that in such a big way. So with the challenges that are going on with the game right now, the transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, just a changing atmosphere around the country, conference makeup, etc., is that we are being very steadfast, very sharp-elbowed to say you can go to college, you can play college football, you can get a great degree, and you're going to be set for life. And tomorrow we are going to announce the semifinalists for the William B. Campbell Trophy. And every school in the country, there are 774 colleges and universities that play football. They get to nominate somebody. And they have to have at least a 3.2 grade point average. They have to be done with their eligibility during this season so that we didn't want to violate NCAA rules, whatever, when we give these postgraduate scholarships. But what we're going to announce tomorrow is staggering. It's just staggering. And we use that as kind of a poke in the ribs to people when they say, look what's going on in football. We say, well, here's our academic class for this year. The grade point average of this group is out of the 201 people, it's 3.72 grade point average. 121 of the 201 are captains. We've got 22 first-team All-Americans. The list goes on and on. And we use that as the ammunition then to go back and say, you can play, you can get a great degree and go on and be something very special in life. And so we're very proud of that work.
Well, I think it's really, really inspiring. And, William V. Campbell, Bill Campbell, coach of Silicon Valley, good friend of both of ours, and really, I think, couldn't represent better kind of what this award symbolizes. The people, I think, what some of the winners in the past. Talk about some of the
Sure.
winners of the William B.
One of the things that the Football Foundation started, and keep in mind our first leaders included General Douglas MacArthur. When he was done being the general of the Army, he moved into the Waldorf Astoria, he and his wife, and they created our annual dinner. And that started in 1959. And at that dinner, we put people into the College Football Hall of Fame and we award our postgraduate scholarships. Black tie dinner. We've subsequently moved it to Las Vegas because the Waldorf closed, but we still have the dinner. We still get 2,000 people that come each year. And at that dinner, we not only do Hall of Famers and scholar athletes, but then we like to recognize key people around the country. So over those years, we have given our gold medal, which is the highest award, to 7 U.S. presidents. We have given it to military leaders. We've given it to modern day people like Condoleezza Rice.
Which was one of the great speeches of all time.
Great.
Go on YouTube and look at the speech she gave at the National Football Foundation dinner. It'll make you. It makes me cry every time I see it. But
it's unbelievable. And you realize what a fantastic football fan she is, and how she had to respond to her dad when her dad would say, "Condi, what's that formation on that offense?" And if she didn't know it, he'd correct her.
Right.
And she was special. But we also give a Distinguished American Award, and that goes to people like to Admiral Bill McRaven, who was the head of SEAL Team 6. He was a SEAL for 72 years. Then he was the chancellor at the University of Texas, and he's now on our board.
And the make your bed speech.
Make your bed.
And it was the guy who got Osama bin Laden.
He got bin Laden.
And so it's so cool to have him on the board now too.
Yeah, and just leader after leader after leader. We recognize the top officials, the top athletic directors. The game is not just the people who play it and coach it, but it's the community of football people and all the way across the board. So this dinner gives us a chance for that platform.
And the first family of football, the Manning family, is your chairman, Archie, right. Our chairman.
Chairman.
Talk about what the Mannings' involvement means, just in terms of, I mean, in terms of the impact that they're having, not just in football, but kind of broadly. How do you see that manifest itself?
Well, it's maybe one of the best things that we ever did. When I first came to the Football Foundation, we had a lot of great leaders, like George Steinbrenner was one of the people that hired me. And they wanted us to move out of New York, New Jersey area, make a lot of changes. We had wonderful people as chairman, but after the first year and a half that we were there, we had a chance to bring on somebody new. And I had known Archie a little bit. So I just got on an airplane and flew to New Orleans, and he had an office in the Entergy Power Building in New Orleans. We asked him to be our chairman. And what you get with Archie is a multifaceted kind of a person. You have someone who is he has no ego. I mean, when I've traveled with him, I've gone a lot of places with him. He stops, and the TSA guys, all they want to do is have a picture with Archie. They don't care whether you're going through it. Right. It's just, and he shakes hands with everybody, talks to everybody. But he's highly knowledgeable of the game. He played in the pros for a very long time. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He is an unbelievable family man. He's an unbelievable father. His influence is so far-reaching. He created, this is just finished the 26th year of the Manning Passing Academy. Mm. And the list of people that were quarterbacks that went and participated in this camp is beyond impressive. And so what you get with Archie is you get Peyton and Eli. You get his older son, Cooper, whose son, Arch Manning, is now a freshman at the University of Texas. Yeah. And one of the top recruits of all of last year. And so you get a multi-phases, multi-aspects of someone with Archie. And everyone has such great respect for him that as our leader, it couldn't be any better. It just could not be better because he's thoughtful, he's warm, supportive, gives us leeway to go do a lot of things because he's just so good.
So you mentioned we have two conference commissioners on the board. We've got All-American, Roger Goodell, amazing group of people that care about the game. And you talk about the game and some of the challenges facing it. Talk about what's going on with NIL and with the transfer portal. What are some of the issues that creates for college football and for some of the universities?
One of the things that initially had bothered us and a lot of people was the quick push to make transferring from one school to another so easy. And when you look back on it, and having been a conference commissioner, our old rules were...
The first conference commissioner of the Big 12.
First conference commissioner put the Big 12 together, yeah. Right. And we had a lot of rules that were restrictive. And having two sons that were college athletes at the highest level, you get a chance to look at that and you say, well, these rules needed to have some flexibility. And the rules were not flexible whatsoever. So the transfer portal comes along, and what that means is that you get a free, you start out at school A, you don't like it, don't like the coach, things just didn't work out. You have the ability to transfer to another school. You don't have to sit out, whereas in the past it used to be you had to sit out a year, or if you transferred within a conference, in a lot of conferences, sometimes you had to sit out 2 years. So it was very restrictive. Now you just transfer and you get to play right away. So there's a lot of issues with that. There's good, but there's also some negatives. So then you couple that with name, image, and likeness. And we now all see that how beneficial it is in its pure form. Young men and women in all sports can now make money, and it's not an NCAA violation. When I say make money, it's not just their name, image, and likeness. It could be someone that says, we're glad you're going to the University of X, and we're going to contribute money to you that's way above and beyond board, tuition, and et cetera, et cetera. But where that's morphed into is that, and this is where the negative is, there are a lot of young men and women who think that the grass is greener. So rather than wait it out, go to some school and just see if it's going to play out. Because under the old system, you go somewhere. If you want to be a great offensive lineman, you go to Michigan. And you know that you're not going to play your freshman year, might play a little bit your sophomore year, but your junior and senior year, you're going to be first team on one of the greatest offensive line programs in America. Well, young people today don't want to wait. I want to play right now. Or their family says you should be playing right now. You should be earning money right now. So they get into these young people's heads and they transfer without having a place to go. Yeah. Or they think the grass is going to be greener. So there's thousands of kids in the transfer portal who've given up on a great scholarship, great opportunity to go somewhere else and not have a scholarship. And so they're just done. And we want to eliminate that. We want to take away all of the inducements that, Mike, if you come here, we are going to, and they do it through a high school coach, they do it through unlicensed agents.
Right.
We don't want people just to go on the promise of getting more money, that go where we want you to get that degree. So what we've done at the Football Foundation, and keep in mind we have college presidents that are now on our board. We've got very wonderful, thoughtful people like Bill McRaven, who was chancellor at Texas, that can't we step in and make it an even greater purpose to get that degree. So we would say to a young man or young woman, in this case, football player, if you play for college football and if you get a degree or about to get a degree, and you go to a leadership academy as such that we would have through the Football Foundation, and you get that certificate, we'll help line up a job at the other end.
Yeah.
There's other things to look at than just going to the pros.
Well, I know you and I both share the belief that football is an incredible teacher of life and leadership and teamwork and grit and all things that any employer would love. And I think to create kind of a finishing school, if you will, through the Leadership Academy, I think is a great opportunity for the Football Foundation. I think it's a great opportunity for corporate America, because the people coming out of that are going to be unbelievable.
Exactly.
So talk about, and you mentioned, the college presidents and their involvement. I mean, we have the past national champion, Georgia, is the president of Georgia on the foundation board. And I think a lot of people don't even realize there's 776, as you made the point, 776 schools that are playing college football. And you also said less than 1% of these athletes are going to get a chance to play in the pro. So you think about what's being missed is all the other things that go on with that college football experience. The team, the camaraderie with the team being there for more than just 2 minutes.
Correct.
The ability to really create a relationship in the community. I mean, there's so many things that I think is kind of short-term oriented as opposed to really long-term benefits.
Very true.
So you were in Washington, D.C. last week meeting with Congress.
We were.
You gave testimony. What were some of the Congressman Roger
Williams? Yeah.
Roger Williams ran the committee. He was also on the National Football Foundation board.
And our board.
What were some of the things covered there? What were some of the takeaways?
So there's this is a long ways away from being settled, and a lot of people within the college community think that we need to go to Congress to have this sorted out. I'm not one of those, and a lot of people aren't. To go to Congress or the federal government to sort out things that you could probably work out yourself is not good. But Roger Williams, Congressman Roger Williams, who's from a district right near Fort Worth, is also the chair of the Small Business Committee of the House of Representatives. And there's only 15 of those committees. So this is a very powerful position. Roger himself has been on the Board of Trustees at TCU. He was a great baseball player at TCU, was in the Braves organization, cup of coffee at the Bigs, as we say. Yeah. We don't normally give him that much credit, but he's a wonderful guy. And the whole idea was to shed some light on what these real issues are. So the issues are that the world right now, and the collegiate world, is full of unscrupulous, quote, agents who get in the ear of young men when they're sophomores in high school and try to steer them in directions. But the fact of the matter is when you've got a lot of Congress people saying, oh, this is great, let the kids have all of the money that they can. Well, it doesn't play out that way. Whatever looks really good has got negative parts. How are we going to work out the negative parts? So the agents is not good. Number two, the scholar-athlete concept is really challenged right now. You move around, you transfer too much. The numbers show it. You're just not going to graduate. Then what do you have? And it's not the fault of football. We need to do something that says don't transfer. The other thing is that if you take all of this money, and the reason that one of the key people on who gave testimony is the athletic director at Ohio State, who has 32 sports. Now, keep in mind, 75% of all of the athletes that are in the Olympic Games every year come from the colleges. And that, in essence, is football money. Right. So it trickles down. And so if you like track and field and wrestling and swimming and gymnastics, that's football money that trickles down. And I know this very well, having had an All-America swimmer. I know how this works. Yeah. And now you're going to take away all of this, so we're going to have club sports. And now does that mean that we don't care to have an Olympic team in the future? Now, there's ways to do all of this, but we wanted to, and this was Congressman Williams' goal, to shine a light on the fact that, yes, it's good to have everybody get more money, but let's not jeopardize all of the systems. Let's not take away the ability to be rational about this into the future. And so I thought it was very good. Our three witnesses were the athletic director from TCU, who's been an agent. He's a lawyer. Very sharp, Jeremiah Donati. Gene Smith, the athletic director from Ohio State. And then our third witness was Gino Torretta, who was a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback at the University of Miami, won 2 national championships, played for a third. Yeah. He's got his own business, created his own business. He's got his own radio network, and he's an investment banker. And he played in the cup. He played 2 or 3 years in the NFL, and it just was not going to be an NFL quarterback. But he's gone on to be a real leader. So here we had this breadth of experiences out there to say, here's what it really looks like.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And talk about breadth of experiences. You've had, I could talk to you all afternoon about the different stories you've had from sports. You mentioned George Steinbrenner. There's some people I'm going to ask you about. So George Steinbrenner, he was one of the people recruited into the National Football Foundation. What was he like? What's a way that people should think about him? For people that don't know, he was the bigger-than-life owner of the New York Yankees for a number of years.
Well, a lot of people would refer to him as irascible. He had a fantastic shipbuilding operation. So he had a real business, and that was based in Tampa, Florida. So he owned the Yankees. But a lot of people don't know that he played and coached college football. And he told me repeatedly that if he had a chance to go back and be an assistant coach, he was assistant at Northwestern, Purdue,
and Ohio State. Wasn't he from Air Prestige, I think?
Yes. Yeah. And he said, I'd go do that in a minute. I'd give up all of this if I could go back. He said, we ate on the training table. Sometimes we were working all night. We'd sleep in the locker rooms. I mean, you could just tell the game meant a lot to him. And I had known him through my work with the Olympic Committee, and I got to know him pretty well. And it was priceless when we went through this, because Chuck Ninus brought my name up into the process, and George Steinbrenner, good, let's get him right now. Well, I had a job then. And so George made the phone call. Hey, we want you to interview for this job, but we want you to take the job. Need you to come right now. Well, George, I've got this big event that I'm running. No, just come on up here right now. Right. He sponsored scholarships for kids all over the country. And he did it anonymously. He did a lot with the Culver Academy. He did a lot with Williams, where he played. He just was he was a man of just the ability to tap into so many different things, very deep, very thoughtful, very bright. He could be irascible as all get out. I mean, we didn't move fast enough out of Morristown, New Jersey to move to Dallas. And he called me, and I can't repeat what he said, but it was, he thought that I had too many Ivy League guys in the way of us moving right away. So, tell them to, boom. And so we moved. So he's a great leader, and, you couldn't thank him enough. He was just, it just meant a lot to him. College football meant a lot to him.
Yeah, no, it's special. So you were the president of the Orange Bowl. What was the takeaway from that? What was your favorite thing about that experience?
So my background is I started at Colorado. I actually started at Northwestern after my junior year of high school. I thought I was going to be a great journalist until I find out when I'm around really bright kids that I can barely put one sentence after another. So I went back. I'm from Colorado, so I went to Colorado, was involved with the football team. I was going to New York to work in advertising. And the football coach at the time, Eddie Crowder, who was an All-American quarterback for Bud Wilkinson at Oklahoma, asked if I'd stay 1 year. 1 year became 5. I met my wife, Patty, there when she came to get her doctorate. And then I've been, I'm the number 1 poster boy for being blessed with just great opportunities. You know, you get a little challenge, door opens, you walk through it. So I then went from Colorado to the Big 8 Conference, was an associate commissioner with Chuck Ninus. I think I was 28 at the time. Chuck's the all-time leader in college athletics that there ever has been.
Yep.
I was there, and then I was there 6 years, and then the Metro Conference, which doesn't exist anymore, but it was the number 2 basketball league in the country. Louisville, Memphis State, Cincinnati, South Carolina, Florida State, Southern Miss. Great basketball. We won the Final Four in '86, almost won it in '87. Southern Miss won the 50th NIT. It was a great basketball league in all sports but football. And I did that for 4 years and felt that I needed more experiences. There were just things that I had now run conference basketball tournaments. I had now run Final Fours. I had now done all of that. And I felt there was a lot more. And I had known the Orange Bowl guys from my days at the Big 8, because the Orange Bowl at the time had the Big 8 champion versus the highest at-large they could get. That was the contract. And the Orange Bowl wanted to get a new executive director who had no ties to the Miami or South Florida community, so they came calling. And the reason it was important, I moved the family then. We lived there for 6 years. I was able to put FedEx on as a title sponsor that lasted 18 years. We got Rolex to be on the Rolex Junior International tennis tournament in Miami at the Orange Bowl is the oldest running junior tournament in the world. Yeah. So we got Rolex in all of tennis based on that. And I needed that big event experience. So one of my halftime shows, and when I say that, it means a lot of people worked on this, but we were nominated for an Emmy Award, which was, I thought I was a football guy, but now I'm entertainment kind of guy. And
Hollywood.
So that was really fun. And then I did that for 6 years, and then the Southwest Conference called to be their commissioner, Texas A&M, and so then we moved to Dallas, and we've been in Dallas now 30 years. The Southwest Conference then went into the Big 12. And so here we are.
So you went to the University of Colorado. You mentioned that. You're in the University of Colorado Sports Hall of Fame. Now you've got a new coach, Coach Prime. How do you see that going? Is that something that what's the pluses and minuses of that, if there is any minuses?
Well, I think the little perspective. So the span of time that I was there, and then through the Bill McCartney era. Yeah. Where they won the national championship at the Orange Bowl, as a matter of fact. If you don't think I'm not blessed. After that span of time, if you go back the last 20 years, Colorado football has become an afterthought.
Yeah.
The last 3 or 4 years, they're not competitive, and they're just taking up space. And when they went to the Pac-12, I think they lost their identity. The athletic director there, Rick George, who has been a leader in the PGA Tour. He's been the president of the Texas Rangers. In fact, the last time they played in the World Series was when he was president. Had great growth there. He himself played at Illinois, was a great defensive back, great coach, assistant coach. He's a real leader. And he felt that Colorado needed a different perspective. And he's smart, he's intuitive, and he's aggressive. And so they went through some coaches that just didn't work out. And then when Deion Sanders stepped up and did what he did at Jackson State, and Rick thought that he could go and tap into that. So with what you have with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, is that you've got the coach, but you've got the aura of the whole Coach Prime thing.
Right.
And I think it's incredibly bright. Boulder campus, if you haven't been to Boulder, and it's it's so dear to me. There's not much of an African American population there. Kids that go there to school, whatever. It's just for whatever reason, it just has never been that way. They were always leaders in having black kids play, even going back into the 40s. So they were leaders in that, but not overwhelmingly so. So to go get Deion, and Deion went right away, to his credit, he went right in. He met with deans, he met with professors, people that didn't have that exposure, said these kids are going to sit in the front row.
Right.
Then told the guys, you're not wearing wife beaters or hats sideways, and you're going to sit up front, and you're going to pay attention. And he's doing all of that. So there's a ton of things that I think have really worked out very well. And the team has played well. I still think that they're a couple years away from what you would say of having a really powerful football team. They're very good right now. They have a lot of speed, and the excitement with the program and around him is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's just unbelievable.
It's great. It's great for the University of Colorado. It's great for college football.
It's great for college football. I mean, look at the television ratings when they're playing. People are going to watch that. I mean, the game when they played against Colorado State didn't start in Dallas, Texas till 9 o'clock at night, which means it's 10 in the East.
Right.
And the ratings, at one point it was up to an 11 or 11.3, and it's at 12:30 in the morning.
Right.
And so it's a great impact.
So just a couple more questions as we're wrapping up. So this kind of musical chairs or mad scramble to find a chair that's gone out to conferences. Is that kind of done, or does that still have a ways to go? And what's your view of what's happened with the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC and the demise of the Pac-12, which has been around for over 100 years?
Well, I lament that some of these things have developed the way that they have. Yeah. I think if you take the SEC, they've got great leadership, and I think they've got both feet on the ground. I think really strong. I think the Big Ten Conference has both feet on the ground, very strong. All these are very powerful institutions and powerful followings. I think for the most part, a lot of aspects of the Atlantic Coast Conference are in good shape. And I think right now it's undetermined, but the Big 12 has enough new members that are coming in that not sure there's a bell cow there, but there's a lot of very powerful institutions. I still think and of the opinion, and you have to be so careful on this, but I do think that what's coming down the road is that one huge investment, whatever it would be, bank or whatever, that would come in and say, give me the top 40 institutions, and we'll do our own championship. Here's all the money we'll pay. Because if these things are going to evolve, which I think that they are, then what's out there, and what are we looking at down the road?
Looks like the Premier League.
It'd be the Premier League.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So, just wrapping up, what can people do that are listening to this to support the mission of the National Football Foundation? What should they know that maybe they don't know? And again, how can they support you and us?
Well, very thoughtful. Football Foundation is not going away. And in fact, as you and I had visited, I've been stunned with the people that have called that have these great leadership positions in the country that say, we want to be involved with you guys because there's no downside. You're out there for the right reasons. And we don't pay our people to be part of our board. They pay to come to the meetings, and they pay to be part of what we do. And obviously, financing helps us a lot. But I think with the new leadership academies that we're developing, we want people that would come to us as corporations. We've already had companies come now that we've told them this, such as Fidelity, who's been a great partner of ours. Boy, we want to talk to these guys when they get out. They play football, have a degree, and they've gone through the Leadership and Entrepreneurial Academy program. We want to talk to them. We want to know that. We want those leaderships. So We always need money. People contribute to us all the time through the Football Foundation, or corporations and companies that would say, we want to talk to the players. Can you be the funnel? Can you channel these guys to us, which we want to do?
Yeah. Steve, you are a national treasure. I can't thank you enough for not just doing our interview right now, but all the things that you do. So thank you for everything.
Thank you. Thanks for the friendship, Michael.
Awesome.
Thank you.